Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is Robert from Islam for Europeans. Please like and subscribe to the channel. So, I want to make this video about why we're doing what we're doing at Islam for Europeans and why it matters, and how I guess one can justify making this like the main focus of your mission as a Muslim, as a convert, especially now in 2024, because we're seeing such unimaginable suffering in the Muslim world. The question pops up even for many converts, mostly because a lot of converts are involved in dawah work, and I've heard some of them say, why is what I'm doing so important? Because I'm seeing so much unimaginable suffering. Why does it matter? And our main focus should be, like helping out our brothers and sisters who are suffering around the world. And indeed, last October I felt this way too. I at a certain point I just didn't want to carry on, with this line of work. I thought to myself, what's the point of it all? What I'm going through, it doesn't matter one iota to what our brothers and sisters, what they're going through in the Muslim world. And this kind of falls in line with some leftist arguments, you hear some Islamo leftists who will say things like just the work that we're doing is quote unquote centering white converts. So I think this is the wrong way to look at it. And at some point, in late October, I mentioned, this is the way that I was feeling to, an actual brother, in the community who's from Gaza. And he said to me, no, you need to keep doing what you're doing. The work that you're doing is very, very important. And don't let the fact, what's going on with world events affect that. So you should, keep doing the work you're doing. So, my response to, that question is, it's not a zero-sum game. The work that we're doing at Islam for Europeans, and by extension, any organization run by converts that deals with converts issues, is essentially important now more than ever. Which, both directly and indirectly, has also a positive effect on, the suffering of our brothers and sisters in the Muslim world. And I'm going to explain a couple of reasons why that is. First of all, mosques, Muslim organizations, the way that they deal with converts in general, ever since I took my Shahada, is, one of two ways. Either number one, they just don't do anything differently at all. They run their programs the way that they run them, if they have any at all. And, if you have someone who takes their Shahada, who wants to become an integrated member of the Muslim community, this is what we have to offer. You have no choice but to assimilate into an existing Muslim community. They don't, tailor any of their Islamic programs or Quran classes or Islam classes, to converts, even if there's a giant influx. This is why, you only see the converts who end up, assimilating into a Muslim community full out, while the rest of them, it just basically becomes a revolving door. So that's scenario A. They just keep doing what they're doing. They don't put any money into, helping out converts to Islam. And scenario B is, when they see an influx of converts to Islam and they say, okay, well, we need to help them out. So, let's do a fundraiser. Let's take some of the, the money or funding that we've gotten as an Islamic organization and put it towards these converts. And that's problematic for a couple of reasons. One is that, if you don't understand what the problems are, the programs you're going to make are not going to be a solution to their problems. So, you're basically wasting money. And secondly, the way that they try to help out converts is just by throwing money at the problem. Let's give them free gas cards. Let's give them free food. Let's give them a free Umrah trip. Let's pay for their Islamic education. And at certain times, that is important, based on individual need. And the other one is like a shelter, like a shelter space, right? Um, that's problematic because, with the influx of converts to Islam in the past year, um, mosques really haven't thought that through. And, they're just going to end up spending more and more money on that problem, money that would be better spent on our brothers and sisters who are suffering in the Muslim world, right? So, and that's what we're trying to prevent. If you have an organization that's run by converts for converts, not only, will they stay in the Muslim community, but you're not going to be, wastefully spending money on programs that are not going to help the bulk of the people who are taking their shahada, right? So that's how I justify it basically. And I, there's a deep hole in my heart seeing, our brothers and sisters who are suffering in the Muslim world. It, breaks my heart every day. And, I make dua for them, may, Allah accept their duas. And, this is a reminder, to myself and everybody else, to keep them in our prayers, you know, um, but we should never think that the work that we're doing is not important because it absolutely is. We're trying to change the game and how we deal with converts, and converts have a lot to offer. I mean, if we keep them if we design programs to help keep them in the Muslim community, you know, converts, they want to donate as well. So it's not a zero sum game. We want to donate to our to Gaza. We want to donate to Sudan. We want to donate to Lebanon. um, we're very motivated, very practicing, and we pay zakat at the end of the day and sadaqah. So like the more Muslims we can keep in the Muslim community, the healthier it is. And that's one thing. Just keeping converts in the fold of Islam in the Muslim community, but also just overall the image of Islam in the West. The work we're doing at Islam for Europeans. You know, because I saw recently that this the recent events are only going to exacerbate the refugee crisis, and many of these people, for example, in Lebanon, and Lebanon is half Sunni, I mean, a third Sunni, a third Shia, and a third Christian, but they're coming from the Muslim world, and it's going to have a negative effect on the image of Islam in the West. They're gonna the anti-Islam right is going to use that as a basically a recruiting poster, to get more people to think the way that they do, to think that that Islam is specifically the problem. And that's what we're trying to decouple here. It's not Islam that's causing this crisis, right? And that has an effect on everybody. The image of Islam. It affects born Muslims. It affects converts. It affects us directly because these are our friends, our family, our community members. So the worst situation for us is if converting to Islam is seen as an act of treachery, and to many people it is, and there's no way you can change your opinion on that. Others, they're on the fence. There's 40% of non-Muslim Britons have no opinion or on Muslims or Islam in general. So that's a big chunk of the population. And the more the anti-Islam right is given more ammunition to push for the idea that Islam is a destructive force in and of itself, the worse it'll be for the image of Muslims everywhere. So this, and by and large, the Muslim community, even when I converted to Islam, they're not really interested in establishing these kinds of dialogue, having this kinds of discourse, or really integrating themselves into the greater community. And with a new batch of people coming in, they're just trying to survive. They don't have the time or the money or the wherewithal to try to give dawah in any way, shape, or form. To establish dialogue with people. They're just trying to survive basically. So that's why we need to put it on our shoulders and say, look, this should be our mission basically. And just and if we can present that as as an organization here or any other organization similar to ours, and even if the born Muslims are supporting us in spirit, or maybe they're supporting us by donation, that basically is their way of giving dawah. Like we are the experts on the subject, and they donate money, and that's their way of giving dawah instead of trying to directly talk to Westerners, who are not their family members, who are not their community members, and so on and so forth. Um, so yeah, I mean, I just wanted to make this as a short video. I don't have much extra to say on the subject, but I think it is an important thing that we need to keep in mind that our work as converts is super important. That we're doing this for the sake of Allah, not just for helping out converts and having a healthy convert sub community, which is going to improve the image of Islam in the West overall. You're keeping them in the fold of Islam, but on top of that, we don't want to see Muslim organizations spending all this money on trying to help us out, money that's better served for Muslims who are just in absolutely dire need, because lives are at stake here. We don't want to see people die, or be placed in even worse position, because like we just want to have like a bigger dinner at a mosque, or get more funding for us, unless it's absolutely necessary on our end. So yeah, that's my time for the day at Islam for Europeans. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think. If you disagree with me, I'd like to hear from you. But that's my time for the day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.